Here are the horoscopes for the week of the 21st to the 27th of October 2024. So on the 23rd, the Sun moves into Scorpio, joining Mercury, who's already tearing ahead in this deep and perceptive sign. Scorpio can be magnetic, dramatic, passionate, so we expect to see some of those energies arise in the month of Scorpio, the solar month of Scorpio. Very brave, bringing things to the surface, truth-telling, deep thinking, revelations and realizations. And as we know, we're heading towards a bit of a tipping point during the month of Scorpio when Mars opposes Pluto. But first let's have a look at the Mars retrograde. Mars is retrograding back from 6 degrees Leo to 29 degrees Cancer from the 6th of December to the 24th of February. But before that, we're in the awareness phase. So Mars passing through Cancer, heading into Leo and then coming back again. We need to look at where Cancer is in our chart and see what's being purged there. Cancer on one level can be any stagnant waters, emotional stagnation, things that we're holding on to that we should have released. So stirring up those waters. So many will experience emotional risings from past issues that are ready for healing. There could be issues with mothers. Cancer represents the mother, or the ego, any anger, as Mars can represent the lower fire until we point that arrow upwards. So on a personal level, Mars moving through Cancer before retrograding on the 6th of December. Have a look at trigger points, buttons being pressed, things that make us angry, any repressed emotions that are triggered will come up. So try not to blame the messenger. But all in all, a very cleansing and purging period. But right now Mars is approaching opposition with Pluto, and this is a very big deal. Mars, the earthly masculine, Pluto, the heavenly masculine, reaching an opposition, which we've already felt in the Grand Cross of last week on the Aries full moon. That energy is growing. So Mars will be exactly opposite Pluto on the 5th of November, then retrograde and reach exact opposition again on the 5th of January. Now those two dates are both very symbolic for the American election. And the country of America itself is said to be Cancerian, being born on July the 4th. For me, England is represented by Capricorn. It's hard to date a country. Some people use the Battle of Hastings, which seems fairly recent, and also can't really start a country with an invasion. Or the Magna Carta, which would be Libra and Gemini respectively. But I feel much more Capricorn, with all the standing stones, the ancient history, and on a more modern level, the old school tie network. Government. So if we look at England as Capricorn and America as Cancer, we can see that those countries are written across this opposition. So very interesting dates, the election itself and then the ratification of the election. Those two dates are falling right across this axis. Then the inauguration always happens just as the Sun passes from Capricorn to Aquarius. And this is a point that we've been talking about all year, as Pluto will move across that point on the 20th of November, starting a whole new age. So really big and exciting transits happening that we can see reflected in our outer world. We can feel the tension rising, sense of nervousness, sense of something building, and finding Cancer and Capricorn, that vital last degree of Capricorn, first degree of Aquarius point in your chart. So we're in the first part of the coming Mars retrograde. See if you can stay aware, see what's coming up, see where the heat is, see what needs to be purged. The goal will be emotional freedom, releasing of old programs, beliefs and patterns, and possible weight loss as well, because when we hang on to things in the water signs, that can actually stick around in the cells of our body, so we literally should feel lighter and brighter after this phase has completed. And the whole Mars retrograde 1, 2, 3 stages will be complete by the 2nd of May. And another aspect to add to the mix, we have Jupiter going retrograde in Gemini. This will be until the beginning of February. This one's really useful because with all of the activity, especially on the outside, news cycle heating up, passions flaring, Jupiter retrograde in Gemini asks us to have a impartial, sovereign mind. Very much the ability to change our mind, which is what most Mercury retrogrades are about. But this is to take back our sovereignty and majesty. So can we actually be impartial? Can we not pick a side? Can we rise above and see things from a greater perspective? Can we change our mind with new information coming in? Can we do our own research? Make our own minds up? Because there's a great deal of integrity here. And in reality, it's our whole systems and structures that are at the ballot box, that are up for restructure. So there'll be questions around integrity on every level: political integrity, election integrity, financial integrity, all systems, education, medical, law, health, environment. They all need to be looked at from a higher perspective so we don't get caught up in a flood of biased media. Can actually view those, know what we know to be true, what we would do, what our policies are. So I feel Jupiter retrograde in Gemini until the beginning of February will help take us through this period where everything is shifting and changing, everything's being revealed, everything's hanging in the balance. But there's a strange sense of calm and elevation when we really know ourselves, know our own mind. So to recap, we're in the first phase of Mars retrograde. So Mars is still direct in Cancer, going up to 6 degrees Leo and then turning retrograde on the 6th of December. We're heading towards the tipping point of Mars being opposite Pluto, which will happen on the 5th of November, and again retrograde on the 5th of January, and a final direct time on the 12th of April. So something very potent coming up for these dates, lots of twists and turns between the 5th of November and the 5th of January, but all in order to show us to take back our own power and how to bring in fairer and more appropriate systems. So those are the horoscopes for this week, and I'll see you next week.